Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Project Wally. This is going to be episode 4, and on today's episode, I'm going to focus on cutting out and welding in a new floor pan. So if you've got rusty floor pans, this is going to be a good episode for you to watch if you want to see how it's done. Let's dive in. So today I'm going to focus on cutting out this floor pan, which I've kind of outlined where I'm going to cut it with the blue Sharpie. Once I get that cut out, I'm going to then cut off the excess on the new floor pan, and then I can start welding that in. The first step's going to be removing these 2 screws, and then I think I'm just going to go for the cut. It'll be kind of hard around here. There's some supports under there, so I'm going to try and just do very shallow cuts, so I'm going to be moving kind of slow so I don't cut any supports below it. So here's a quick look at the replacement floor pan that I bought. I just ordered this off of Quadratech. If they've got stuff in stock, they're great to order from. They get it out really quick. And they give you extra little lips that overlay to help weld everything. So yeah, I think this will be a pretty good pan. And it was like, I think maybe 70, 80 bucks per pan. I bought one for each side. I've got it all cut out all around, and now all that's holding it down is where the support runs along. It looks like it's got some little spot welds in there. I can see those too. There's probably more throughout here that are not so visible thanks to all the rust. So I need to just drill these out and then I guess start bending it or prying it and see if I can find the other ones that are a little more hidden in there and drill those out too. I totally didn't notice that my camera fell down during that time lapse, so that's cool. But I got it out. As you can see, these are all the spots that were kind of spot welded that I had to drill out partially. Some I went all the way through on accident, but got them all out and got the floor pan out. I didn't want to cut it up into a bunch of pieces. I wanted to keep it mostly intact. That way I could use it as a template on the other one to get the rough shape. And I'll cut it a little big and then I can grind down the edges to get it close to the exact size. I was bending it up as I was going to reveal where those little spot welds were. I had a little pry bar I was hammering in, and when it stopped, it would create like a little circle divot so I could see where the spot weld was. And then I would drill it out and then keep going. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Hey guys, I just wanted to jump in for a second and say I've got a lot more viewers on these videos than I was expecting and a lot more subscribers. So I'm just curious about my viewers. What kind of Jeeps do you guys have? What year? What issues are you working on your Jeep? Drop down in the comments and let me know. I went ahead and flattened that one out as best I could, set it on top of the new pan, and then I kind of pressed it down with my knees and hands and outlined it. So that's roughly what I cut out. Now, one thing I read the reviews, the front of this pan, if you're going for like a full replacement and not just the section like I did, the front of the pan needs a little modification. It's not quite the right shape up there, which I've noticed it's kind of getting hung up a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out, and this is what I outlined. I'll probably cut it up here or something to be safe in the beginning. That way I can take it down slowly and get close to exact, but I want it to overlap some because I'm not going to butt weld. I'm gonna just overlap them and weld it that way. The sides I'm not gonna cut yet. I might be able to kind of just squish it in there as is and let it overlap the full way. I might have to do a little bit of modification on this side, but we'll see. So first I'm going to cut that, and then I can actually get it to probably mostly sit flat in there and see what else I need to cut. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Now I just have to tack weld around the entire thing, which will only take all day. I went ahead and took a wire wheel on my grinder and took all the paint off around all the edges so I could weld it. I'm gonna do the same thing in here and clean up all the edges so I can weld it. But also I am gonna take a minute to vacuum out this rust, and I'm gonna paint it all up real good with some of that Rust-Oleum rust converter. And then I'll probably do another coat of paint on top of that too, just to hopefully help it out some. It's gotten pretty dark out here, but I'm still going. I have sprayed this like crazy with rust converter, and once that dries a little bit, I'll put some more paint on top of it. I might start packing things up for the night. Okay guys, it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm just now finally about to start on the Jeep. I got my gas regulator, and I went and bought some shielding gas today for my welder, so hopefully I can do some better, cleaner welds on some of the thinner gauge on the Jeep. But yeah, other than that, I was busy changing rotors and brakes on my other car and my fiance's car this morning, so that took a while. And now that's all done, and I have to go watch a movie at 8 o'clock. Don't have to, but I'm gonna go watch the new Doctor Strange movie, so gotta try and get this floor pan welded in real quick. One thing that I want to point out that I'm doing when I'm tack welding this in is the metal's not totally sitting flush up against the old metal all around. So I had to hold it down nice and flat, get a few tacks on there, and then after I get those tacks on, I'm taking the ball peen and pounding down next to it, because after you have the one tack, it holds it flat, but then the metal that's not tacked down yet, around it's still kind of up. So when it's holding it right there, you can pound right next to it and get it seated pretty much perfectly flat. So I've been doing that. I'll do a few tacks, then I'll pound around those tacks and get it flat again, do a few more tacks, pound around those, and every time it'll get it pretty close, and then you'll notice a little bit of a gap. So after I do like 3 more tacks here, I'll tap it again and it'll kind of close up that seam. But it's not as bad as it was. It's still kind of bad over here because I haven't done any tacks on this side really yet, but the rest of it's not too bad. So yeah, that's just one little tip for you. All right guys, sorry it's getting a little dark out, but I got the pan all welded in now. I got my settings adjusted a lot better. Like I've said before, I'm absolutely no welder. I've just welded a little bit in high school, which was quite a while ago. But you can see these are my welds from yesterday, and these are my welds from today. Those look much better, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna try and grind some of this down a little bit. I'm not gonna go too crazy because I don't care if it's that pretty. I'm gonna rhino line over top of everything anyway. I just want it to hold, which I think it will. And by grinding a little bit, I can see if any of my welds were too terrible. I'm not gonna go totally flat though. Okay guys, well that's gonna wrap up part 4 of Project Wally, which this is kind of a big step and a big moment because this totally wraps up the passenger side. Other than doing some small finishing stuff later, like the seam sealer, I'm gonna do that after I finish the whole project and do it all at once. Now we are totally finished with the passenger side. We've got the rockers, we've got the floor pan, we've got the interior patch panels. So I'll give you one final quick look at it all just to see what it looks like completed. And then that'll be it for this episode. So thanks for tuning in. Here is the completed rocker panel. I slapped some paint on there kind of sloppily just to keep it from rusting. This isn't going to be the finished paint job or anything. It came out pretty good. There are definitely some little divots and visible imperfections there, but I probably could have done a lot better, but it would have slowed me down quite a bit. And I still have the whole driver's side to do. So these little imperfections did not bother me because, like I've said before, this whole area is going to be covered with a new rocker guard. So not a big deal to me. Here is the welded in floor pan. I did a little bit of grinding here and there, but it was kind of hard to get something in there because the angles are kind of tight. So any of my grinding wheels just really didn't fit, and they were bottoming out on the actual like floor pan or the wall. So I just kind of gave up since I'm going to put rhino liner over it anyway. I might do a little bit more in the future, but it just wasn't a big deal to me right now. I did go ahead and put the plugs in that I bought, and then I also shot those screws back in, those little round holes there, and those are just to hold up the heat shield below. Here is a look again at the rear patch panels I did. I think it came out pretty good. I'm still going to stuff a lot of seam sealer in here to hopefully keep any water out. So for those of you following along with the project, part 5 is going to be the start of the driver's side. And on this side, I'll have to do the rockers again. I'll have to do the front floor pan. This time I bought a rear floor pan. I'm going to have to do some of the patch panels on the wheel well, and then also redo the cage mounts like I did on the other side. And then I'm also going to try and replace this floor support down here, the torque box. I bought a patch panel for that as well, so we'll see how all that goes, and I'll see you on the next one.